back to 2064 Read-Only Memories, where we are currently in my apartment. I do believe I need to head out somewhere. Yes, two places. Cos.io Corp and Flower Mansion. Let's head to IO Corp. To Cos.io.
Here we are.
We're here.
The Cos.io Corporation office building. It looks like most of the businesses on this block are a part of the same corporate coalition under Cos.io.
Probably true.
Well, perhaps. At the very least, it means it's unlikely they're the ones interfering with Augmented Eye's articles.
Probably true.
Not impossible, but unlikely. Generally, the companies in a coalition don't have a whole lot of overlap.
Oh, true.
Augmented Eye is a news app focused on local tech and culture stories, with an emphasis on hybrids' rights and cybernetics issues. None of the other companies in the coalition cover news, so they aren't related at all, which is very much standard practice for these groups.
That's right. I remember learning about that in
They have
Econ.
nothing to gain by inviting companies with whom they compete, and thus none of them would benefit by trying to undermine Augmented Eye's credibility as a news source.
True.
Yes, another news organization would be the most likely culprit here.
Planter, plant, door, window, another plant, another planter. Pretty fancy. Out front. If they can keep it outdoors, electrical work, and it must be on another level. Okay.
The MeshNet says Augmented Eye's SF office is run by an individual named Zin, and Tomcat confirmed she's expecting us. Let's make sure to keep your other news outlet theory in mind, and we can follow up on it afterwards. All we have to do now is head up and talk to her. No shenanigans this time.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Augmented Eye. You must be the journalist my network admin said would be showing up.
Yep, that is me.
Have a seat. Would you like a drink? My assistant will bring it right away.
Assistant.
Look, I'll start off by saying I'm a little uncomfortable about bringing in another journalist to look into this.
I can understand.
Whatever you dig up, I'll have to explain to the rest of the press. But it's still better than the other options.
I can understand that.
Chances are I have another corporation scoping out my territory. If they aren't in the coalition, they'll be expecting a corporate spy, not a news hound. If they are in the coalition, it won't look good for me to send in my own reporters against my allies.
True.
Even if I do end up being right. So if I'm damned either way, I'd rather it be by the media. At least then we can fight back on a familiar battlefield.
True.
Now, what do you know about our problem here? That's the long and short of it. My network admin is pulling their hair out over it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend I understand everything they say, but from what I understand, the changes to our articles aren't being made from inside our
It
network.
may be on the output.
The versions on our servers are still the originals, but at some point after they hit the mesh, they get changed.
I don't know. Does it go
I'm
directly
hoping that
to
you
the
can do
mesh
some
from
digging,
here, or?
maybe hit up your contacts and get a lead on who might be doing it. Even if I have to get answers from the nightly news, it will be a big help. Mostly little things. Word choice, tone of the writing, things that make the writer appear more or less extreme on a topic.
Uh-huh.
So far, almost all of the edits seem to be making our articles more positive on new technologies coming out, and more critical of organizations like the Human Revolution.
Oh, okay.
That's actually what tipped us off. A harsh criticism one of my writers made about the Human Revolution protests was changed to be downright vitriolic, and I had a hell of a time putting out the fires. My writers and readers aren't exactly fans of them, but I'd rather not pick fights with the Human Revolution if I don't have to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess I'm not, but my network admin assures me it's all coming from somewhere else. They told me that they tore out all of the routers that broadcast to the mesh and replaced them with fresh ones.
Okay.
All kinds of tricks involving IP addresses and DNS changes that I'm not going to even begin to claim to understand. I pay them big bucks, so I'm inclined to believe them unless you dig up something that tells me otherwise. Not really. My admin says that only someone with intimate access to Parallax's network protocols could make these kind of changes as something passes across the net.
Uh-huh.
Personally, I think it's a clever hacker rather than someone inside Parallax itself. The public trust rating of Parallax makes them look like a saint among wolves, so their control over the mesh network provisions is strangling. It's trivially easy to set up ROMs to use a different OS than LIPS or a different meshnet protocol without that trust. Or, you know, Parallax is abusing its power to spread pro-tech propaganda. Doubtful they need to. I'm sure you'll be a good journo and bring me back the right answer. I know Tin Hat conspiracies aren't an ideal start, but it's the best we can do with the info we have. Anything else I can tell you, off the record? If you want it on the record, it'll cost you your firstborn and a really good cigar. Like what? There isn't much more I can tell you about Augmented Eye, really. It's a fairly simple and straightforward operation, if I say so myself.
Well, yeah, it's a news.
We started off in Venezuela as a sleek current events and news organization in 2055. Almost 10 years ago now.
Huh.
We focus on more in-depth reporting of on-the-street happenings, on top of major news. We're one of the few good ones left. Once folks in other cities saw the type of reporting we do, they all clamored for it. They invested in the right places, and it paid off.
So you came...
COS-IO Corp is happy to have us here in NeoSF.
Where is NeoSF anyway?
It wasn't until
is it
hybrid
still in
tech
America?
started hitting the public sphere that we had to make any changes to our model. All of that said, I can't see why anyone would target us. Unless they're just trying to embroil us in a mudslinging match with the Human Revolution, and there are much more direct ways of making that happen. Alright, look. I wasn't going to tell you this. If it gets out, I'd have to answer some really hard questions. So, you didn't hear this from me. You might want to go check out TMI Entertainment and Charlie Nova.
Oh?
That's all I'll say. And remember, you take a bite out of him with my name as your defense, I drop you fast. What? Not wanting to answer prying questions from my coalition board isn't a good enough reason? 'Cause I'd really like to avoid that. And look, you've covered culture wars, right? My journalists are good, but they're mostly good at gadget reviews, implant releases, not taking too many stims so they remember what they did at raves for the after-party reports.
Uh-huh.
This needs an investigative journalist with serious contacts, not tech personalities.
Okay.
The fact that my network admin recommended you to me means you probably know the right people. Now, does that cover it? I'd like to remove my nose from your ass.
Okay, then.
No, don't bother. In hindsight, I probably should have been a bit more circumspect about speaking to you. Plausible deniability and all that. I won't ask you to lie in anything you write, but do remember you got in contact with me not even second-hand, but third-hand. I certainly didn't sick you on anyone. Wink wink, nudge nudge, or whatever. If you need anything else, have your person get with my person. Don't come here directly. Now, I'd show you the door, but you know the way. And this isn't the only fire I'm trying to put out. Good luck, and goodbye.
So, did I go straight to the...
Well, that was more confrontational than I'd have expected, considering she was the one needing
Yeah,
help.
that's the way they
She
are.
never brought you that water, either. Is it always like this? Very true. I will admit that I am interested in the possibility of a link back to Parallax. If all of this really is due to somebody manipulating the meshnet on the inside, it may give us the leverage we need to find out what happened to Hayden once and for all.
That would be interesting.
That said, I will take care not to get my hopes up. We should make no assumptions when investigating, lest we lead ourselves down a false path.
Down the rabbit hole, you say?
Anyway, seems like our next step is... What the...
What? No. No. Did she just get...
What the... That's Zin! She was defenestrated. Emergency services are already on the way, and we are severely ill-equipped to help her. We should head back to her office and see if we can
Defenestrated?
determine what happened here. Perhaps we can still dispense justice.
Okay, back to her office it is.
It looks like the desk has been cleared off. Let's take a look around, but be careful not to disturb any evidence. The police will be here soon.
Shredded chain plan.
Even a ROM like that doesn't deserve an end like this.
Let's see here. Seems to have survived the devastation. How about this one?
Her personal computer is not Give me a moment to look through her files. Best to keep your fingerprints off. Most of this isn't very interesting. Committee reports, financials, article submissions. Oh, here we go. According to this email between Zin and her network admin, her lead on TMI Entertainment is a little more solid than she led us to believe. The admin ran a web crawler looking for changes in writing styles. Some blog posts by their head anchor Charlie Nova stood out like a sore thumb.
Okay.
Apparently he's a bit pompous, if in an affable way, and his blog usually just details his day-to-day life. But ever since the human revolution has been in town, he's been smearing them with more venom than you'd expect, considering how neutral his on-air reporting has been.
Okay.
Zinn seemed to think he was just complaining about the protesters fouling up traffic, and whoever is manipulating these posts spun it to make him look critical of the movement as a whole. Just like the augmented eye journalist. This Charlie fellow is the one we need to talk to.
So someone really doesn't care for...
We can't leave without finding a clue. Let's continue looking around, but be... Even the very best can't make it in this city.
But that's...
My thermal sensors only detect a single set of lingering footprints, and they... Considering the density of this glass, I can't imagine Zinn jumped from that far and managed to throw herself through the pane without help.
But only a single set of footprints? You told me a ROM might have done
But
this.
who could have done it? I don't see any obvious marks on the floor or any other thermal hotspots. It doesn't look like it. We should go. There isn't anything else here, and the police are almost...
Son of a... I should have figured the two of you would be here. You just won't stay out of trouble no matter what I say, will you?
I assure you, Detective Rivers, we are merely in the wrong place at the wrong time. We had an appointment with Zinn to discuss a possible lead and found her office in this state of disrepair.
Of course you did. Damn it. Fine. Get the hell out of here before anyone else shows up.
I'm lucky
We'll chat
Lexi
about the
was the
case
first
more
one to
when I'm
show
not
up.
busy scraping bodies off the pavement. You hear me?
Certainly, Detective Rivers. I'll forward you a report of what we know immediately, and we can speak further at a later time.
Yeah, whatever. Get moving.
It doesn't matter anyway. Detective Rivers has every bit of information that Zinn gave us on that computer. Her investigation will not be hampered by our absence, whereas ours is halted if we're stuck giving answers she can just as well get from a hard drive.
Okay.
Has it occurred to you that whoever threw Zinn out of that window could be after the same thing we are, except to silence the story rather than to get it out? We have little time for fooling about and must get to Charlie Nova before something happens to him too.
Yep.
I have highlighted the main Neo SF offices for TMI Entertainment on your map. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Gotta get out of here and to him.
I hope some pity for me still remains, considering my recent tone, because I'm honestly not sure where we should start. I suppose we should just ask the receptionist to point us to somebody who can answer our questions.
Yeah, that might be helpful.
Honestly, you do have your own mesh access,
Yes, through you.
I'm quite certain you can handle all the casual searches you might feel like making. We hardly have time for me to blather out every bit of exposition you desire when you could just go look it up on your own.
You destroyed my laptop.
Fair enough. If you think it will save time, I can continue to rattle off these facts when you ask for them. I just ask that you keep your queries to a minimum. We don't have a whole lot of time. Let's let me pull up the information you requested. Charlie Nova is TMI Entertainment's most popular TV personality. He's gotten consistently high ratings for almost a decade and isn't afraid to tell you about it. The chatter on the mesh paints him as a bit arrogant, but in that loud, backslapping kind of way that a media star can get away with.
That's about right.
He's best known for hosting Star in the Stratosphere. It's one of those talent-seeking reality programs.
Of course it is.
Apparently, when TMI can't organically discover enough celebrities, they just manufacture them. Oh, and also, according to this blog, Charlie's hair is flawless.
Welcome to TMI Entertainment Incorporated.
She's a shy one.
Do you have an appointment? I really can't let you in without an appointment.
Understandable.
I can maybe pencil you in for next Wednesday?
We don't have time for this. People's lives are on the line here, and all you care about is an appointment?
Oh, look, if it's that important, I can buzz you through to sympathy. But she isn't going to be very happy about being bothered off schedule, so don't get your hopes up.
Uh-huh.
And, try not to make her too mad. I'll be the one dealing with the fallout.
I can understand the feeling.
Right, of course. I apologize. We will be as tactful as possible, I assure you.
He's still dealing with the anger.
She's over on the other side of the room. Head straight there, because she doesn't like it when people bother the talent.
Is that her? No. Talk show host. Newsroom employee, assistant. Stern-looking producer. Is this Charlie Nova? Oh, that is it. Okay then.
I thought I told Nina to cancel all my appointments for the day. I swear that girl couldn't find her ears if I taped them over her eyes. At least she makes a decent cup of coffee. Yes, I am. And if you don't mind, I keep the show running here, so I'll be brief. What are you doing in my building?
We've been given a lead on a story that involves one of your personalities, Charlie Nova. Someone has been manipulating his articles on the Meshnet and turning them into scathing attacks against the human revolution. We're trying to track the culprit, and we need to talk to Mr. Nova to hunt down further leads.
You let your ROM do all the talking for you? Must be one of those new interrogation modules all the fresh meat rave about.
Maybe.
Of course I know someone's been modifying Charlie's articles. I'm tracking them down myself. What I want to know is why I should help you snatch the scoop out from underneath me. Super hacker twists Meshnet news for personal political vendetta? The cliques basically farm themselves. Not interested. I already have a pretty decent idea of where to look next. And if that doesn't pan out, I have our primary server cluster chewing through mesh posts looking for inconsistencies. I'll figure this one out on my own, without some newbie mucking things up. Ha! I'm not hiring, kid. I admire your spirit, but I've got people putting in lots of hours on this one. You're not getting the credit because you think you have a hot lead. Plus, if you really did, you wouldn't be here begging for my scraps. Zin? Augmented eyes, Zin? What does Zin have to do with this?
She's the one who gave us the lead to begin with. Then, someone threw her out of her office window. We figured Mr. Nova might be next, and we wanted to get to him first.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, that's a good reaction, I'd have to say.
Fine, I'll let you talk to Charlie. If someone is trying to kill people over this, I'd rather it be out and done with as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, shit. We're an entertainment scene. Nobody should die for that. But hey, watch yourself with Charlie. He's a pompous clown, but he's my pompous clown. Keep it civil, or I'll throw your ass out and figure this out on my own. Now get on it. I need to make some calls.
What's with those glasses? Okay, that is Charlie Nova Ninja.
Fantastic! How fantastic! I just love your ROM. Not quite as stunning as mine, but still pretty grand.
Okay.
Very sleek, very clean. Bravo.
Thank you?
Oh, Sympathy is doing that thing where she waves at me to hurry things up. Right down to brass tacks then, I suppose. Wait! I forgot to introduce myself.
We know who you are.
I'm Charlie Nova, host of Tonight in the Stars and Star in the Stratosphere. But you already knew that, I'm sure.
Yes, we already knew that.
What can I do for you, Oh, you flatter me. Yes, you do. I can't imagine you've come all this way just to get my story, have you? After all, I've already published my very own splendid 100% original autobiography, Like a Nova. But I suppose I can give you a quick rundown, even if Sympathy is giving me the stink eye. I grew up here on the mean streets of Neo-SF, but my jocular nature and striking countenance got me scouted for a few small product advertisements. And the rest is not so ancient history. Now I'm the host of the largest celebrity news show on the Mesh, and I couldn't be happier.
I doubt that.
It's all thanks to my swarms of fans, though. They're the ones who count.
Yes, any additional information on your station would be greatly appreciated.
Well, it's the best damn network on the planet, I can tell you that. We put out top-notch news and entertainment, but with real heart that our competitors just can't match. But if you really want to know about TMI, you need to know about Sympathy. It's her pride and joy, after all. Sure, she can be a little acerbic, and sure, she calls me a poofy-haired oaf all the time, but you can really tell she cares, you know? Deep down.
Yeah, deep down.
I'm not sure if that throat-cutting gesture she's making is a signal to move to another topic or a threat against my physical well-being. So, let's move on. What next? Oh, it may have come up in the last lunch meeting we had, but Sympathy assured me that it was some kind of technical glitch, and our support people were on top of it. They're top-notch, the absolute best money can buy.
Sure about that?
So I don't think there's anything more to say on the subject. That's very upsetting. I hope you've passed along that information to Sympathy. I'm certain our tech people will be able to find the culprit in short order once they know enough about it. I really don't know what I have to do with it, though.
Because you're...
And that is supposed to mean what? I'm not sure if you're trying to imply that I had something to do with this, or that I'm being targeted for some specific reason, but if you have an accusation to level, then make it
I just thought of
known.
something that just occurred to me. He is...
My time is far too important to be wasted on beating around the bush.
He's one of the top people.
All right, that's enough. Charlie has a show to get ready for. He's told you everything he's going to. So get the hell out of here.
He's one of the top faces in entertainment.
If you
People
find
are going
anything
to
more
pay
interesting
attention.
than what
I
you've
think that's
got,
why he's being
come back
targeted
and see me
as
again.
a source for the changes.
You're right.
Remember, I'm the victim in all this.
Oh man, she looks really cheesed off now. Do you know how snippy she can get? I better get her coffee ready. Maybe that'll calm her down.
We're very sorry if we made your day more difficult. Perhaps I could take the coffee over to Sympathy and we could try to smooth her rumpled feathers.
Yeah, okay, sure. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You make her even madder? Oh no. On second thought.
It'll only take a minute.
All right, but she takes it with plenty of milk.
Okay, let's deliver this and make amends.
I thought I told you to beat it. Or do your ears just not work? Ha! Ah, that's cute. I promise I don't bite. I just have a job to do.
Makes sense.
Sometimes I think Charlie's hair gel seeps into his brain, but he brings in most of our revenue, so his happiness is our top priority. Now, Scram, you know how to get in touch with me if you need me.
Yep.
That did not go well at all. We need some kind of leverage to get Mr. Nova to give us the information we want. I'm certain he knows something.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I have a feeling he does, but...
Indeed. While you were talking to him, I took the opportunity to look into his history more thoroughly. It turns out he did a series of promos for a local Hassie bar early in his career.
Hassie bar.
And some
Ooh.
fans still spot him there from time to time. It's a long shot, but frankly, everything about this case has been one long shot after another.
Are we talking
Maybe
about the
we
one
should
where the...
question the people at this Hassie establishment and look for any dirt we can use to put some pressure on Mr. Nova. There must be something.
What
It's
exactly
the
is a
only
Hassie
path
bar?
I see. The Hassie bar is located on Market Street, near the Genus Clinic.
Yep.
We
It's that Hassie bar. Where's the Genus Clinic? There it is. Still snowing. Let's fix this. I tried to fix it, it won't let me.
Oh, hey, it's you. Wow, long time.
Who's this?
Hey, not too old now.
Huh.
Did you manage to keep that plant I got you alive? Oh, man. Rest in peace, Wilty. You probably overwatered it, didn't you?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Figures. So, what's with the bot? Yours? Really? Huh. I didn't think you liked to bring work home, as it were. Anyway, it's great to see you. What brings you to the Hassie Bar? Doing a review of that sweet weather ROM outside or something? All right, now that's the kind of journalism I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed, we're looking into some accusations made against Charlie Nova. And we're actually trying to build up a solid case against him.
No shit. I actually may have exactly what you
Ooh.
need. Charlie
Spill the
comes
tea.
here all the time. You know that show he's host of, Star in the Stratosphere?
Yeah.
That show where normal people try to become actors and singers and all.
Uh-huh.
Listen to this recording I made when he was here last month on his book tour.
So many people come up to me thinking that if they can sing or act, I'll just make them a superstar. But that isn't how it works. Raw talent isn't enough to get you by in this industry, and anyone who thinks so is lying to themselves.
Sad that it's
It
actually
takes
kind of
hard
true.
work and persistence. You gotta want it, and want it bad. But the kids I get on Star in the Stratosphere, which I host each and every week, as you all know, they're all so young and hungry. I love them. I do my damnedest to make sure they get what they want. They give me their best, so I'm gonna give them mine.
Uh-huh.
It's not much, and it might help you build a case if you chop it up right. Just keep my name off it. I post hiking pictures,
Wait,
not scandals.
are you telling me to...
Well, if nothing else,
Mess with the
the threat
audio?
of this dropping on the mess should get them talking. Here, I just made a copy for you. Anyway, I'd love to catch up soon. For now, I'll let you keep at it. You can usually find me here if you want to chat again.
Say, why did you tell Keith that I belong to you? I'll thank you to remember that I am not the same as any ordinary ROM that exists
sorry, I
to be
didn't mean it that way.
subservient. I don't like being forced to assert my independence as a unique individual, but I really thought you were above this. Anyway,
That's not the way I meant it.
this is pretty innocuous. We are going to need more evidence if we're to fabricate a believable story that will convince Mr. Nova it's in his best interest to help us.
VR drama. Okay. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry, buddy.
I haven't seen you around here before. Is there something I can help you with? Another one of his fans, huh? Yeah, he comes here sometimes. I don't really get why everyone likes him so much.
I really...
Well, I have a picture from this time he flipped off a box of kittens. Somebody brought them to try to give away, and one of them scratched him up. He ended up taking it home, but he really hammed it up about getting scratched.
Oh, jeez.
I think he ended up calling him, I think it was Captain Snuggles.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny, actually. I'll send your Rom a picture.
Well, if it isn't the luckiest jerk I've ever seen in my life.
I tried to fix it.
I had to schedule a specialist to come fix my ROM, and you better hope they can. Oh well, all's well that ends well. I underestimated how much people would appreciate an early Christmas. Anyway, what can I do for you? Sure, I still have a little bit before closing, and I can use some conversation to distract me from the anticipation of the VR drama I have waiting for me when I get off.
Okay.
What do you want to know? Charlie is a complete trip. We met when he was just starting out doing adverts. He still drops in every once in a while to hang out.
Huh.
I love the guy. He's super funny, always has the best stories, and his hair is perfect. And he parties harder than anyone I know.
Oh, does he?
A couple weeks ago, he invited me to his raid at some pole that's probably already shut down, and he got so amped up on Crash that he jumped up on the table and hosted an impromptu dirty dancing contest.
Uh-huh.
I swear, if he was in Charlie Nova, we would have gotten chucked out on our asses. But it was a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
If you want to meet him, just hang around here long enough. He loves mingling with his fans. Not that it helps his ego any. Sure, just let me know if you need anything. I'm always happy to help.
Frankly, I'm starting to feel a bit uneasy about this.
I can understand.
Mr. Nova's clearly an upstanding individual, if just a bit boisterous. But I suppose if we're in for a penny, we're in for a pound. This should be more than enough anecdotal evidence to fabricate a less than flattering image of Mr. Nova that the public will eat right up. Let us present our story to him immediately. Hopefully our delay has not put him in physical danger.
I would hope not. Let us go.
Hey, you two! I think I'm gonna have to let security know that you're not allowed back in the building. Doubtful, but let's hear it. Never let it be said I didn't give someone a chance to dig their own grave.
So what? I like to show people a good time. There's nothing wrong with that.
Damn it, I told you to get off the Crash, Charlie. Shit like this keeps coming up.
I did. And besides, I wasn't doing anything illegal.
Anyway, this is just pathetic. This is really your best attempt at blackmailing us?
Hey, that's completely out of context.
Uh-huh.
And I love Captain Snuggles. Sure, we didn't get off to a good start, but he's a great cat. The best.
Charlie, flipping off a kitten? Why? Whatever, this is still nothing but hot air. You need to step up your game, kid.
Ha! You're just grasping at straws.
Yeah, I didn't really think that was gonna
This
help,
speech was truly a beacon of light. There's no way an original sermon like that is going to convince anyone that I'm a bad guy.
Well, with some creative editing. You go public with this flimsy smear piece, I'm gonna tear you apart.
Oh, enough, enough! I'm not cut out for this cloak and dagger game, Sympathy. What's the big deal anyway? It's not like they've got anything substantial to use. I might as well give them what they want, so they'll go away.
Tell them whatever you want. And I'll be taking that evidence.
You didn't have to do all of this. I would have helped if you had just asked. But it's always push and dig and needle, isn't it?
It didn't give me the option.
I'm not a journalist. I'm just an anchor. I read off a teleprompter and look good doing it. I don't have much to offer you, but here's what I know. Trust me, I'd love to lay down some earth-shattering pronouncement and dazzle you with my investigative skills, but all I've got is flimsy threads at best. The thing is, all this stuff with my stories, stuff getting changed, making me look like I don't like the human revolution or whatever, it started after I had an upgrade made to my VR uplink hardware. The technically legal kind.
Technically legal?
Look, I like to have a good time at a party, right? But Sympathy keeps hammering on me for pounding back too much crash and whatnot. Nothing illegal, but she says it makes me look like shit on camera the next day. So I went to this guy I know, good guy, everyone uses him. He's called Nanya.
Nanya? Okay.
He does great work. After just one simple back alley brain surgery, bing bang boom. I can use an app to make my VR uplink have the same effect on my brain that the stims do, without all the nasty physical side effects. It could be a coincidence, though. The tech guys didn't find anything wrong with my uplink, and they say the modifications check out. But that Nanya guy does a lot of work for media people around here, so if a bunch of posts are getting changed, maybe that's your weak link.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's it. Pretty flimsy, but I'll send you the address and you can go talk to it.
It's something.
If he'll even see you, that is.
Still better than nothing.
Well, we took far too long to get to it, but I'm quite happy to assist in any way that I can. Just make sure you source me in your article, right? Maybe run a rough draft past me and I'll give you some quotes. I'm certain that'll help signal boost the story all the way to the stratosphere.
Oh, jeez, of course you did.
Give it the old Charlie Nova bump. Maybe we can smooth out all this silliness between us.
Mostly the silliness is just you.
I really have to get back to work. Let me know how it goes with the murderous hacker thing. My ROM will call your ROM.
This looks like the spot. I'm awfully nervous and still a bit shaken up. Let's hurry and get out of here.
Hold up there, Speedy.
Oh.
I've never seen the two of you around here before, and I know everybody.
Are you Nanya?
Why don't you let me know what's going on here first before you start barging through people's doors? Feel me?
Hello? We're just here to speak to Nanya about something.
Just got into town and you're already asking favors from folks, huh? Tisk, 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 my little blue friend.
What? No, it's not like that.
Huh.
Listen, we don't want any trouble, but we're kind of in a hurry.
Trouble? There's no trouble here. We can be friends. I like this one. You're a little more street smart than your blue bob buddy here, I see. No, I like you two. You're cool in my book.
Okay.
And since we're all such good friends now,
I don't like this.
maybe you'll be willing to give back to the community and do a favor for your new pal for moolah first. You see, I'm a budding street musician,
I can tell by the name.
working on my next big hit. Feel me?
Oh, and
But I'm sorta stuck on a few lines. I just gotta get these last few rhymes right. Maybe you could share a little of your creativity with me and see what we come up with. And it'll be fun.
Are you sure about this?
Yes, I'm sure.
You know how important this has become.
Yes, I know, but
Time is of the essence.
I understand.
You don't have time to not help me.
Yeah.
Huh?
What do you think would take longer? Helping an up-and-coming singer-songwriter finish a guaranteed worldwide hit? Or you could ignore me and maybe I'll send over an anonymous tip to the Neo SFPD. You see, I know for a fact that everything inside this shop here is 100% legal. But I bet whatever you got in your mind sure ain't. Even if they didn't find anything, it'd take the rest of the day to iron out.
Yep.
People like you don't come down here for anything boring. We clean up good. How well do you cover your tracks when you're in such a hurry, I wonder?
This isn't good.
But we're not doing anything
If
illegal.
Lexi in particular gets suspicious and starts tracking us down, things will become rougher for us.
Yeah, that's why I said I was gonna help him.
Not to mention all the other people it could indirectly affect. This whole case is life or death.
Kind of a dramatic rhyme, ain't it? But I made my point clear. If you don't help me out, I'll make sure you never get in to see Nanya at all. He's my buddy. Done me a favor or two, so I return him when I'm asked. That's how we do things around here.
I was already
knew you'd see it
agreeing
my
to
way.
it.
All you gotta do is help me complete my rhymes, you dig? A couple of them are just missing a word or two, but if I really want to make this song fantastic, I'm gonna need some killer inspiration. It's gonna be super cred. Anyway, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Gonna give it a shot? That's what I like to hear. Here's the first line I'm having trouble with. You ready? It's my favorite season, only comes once a year. I'll show you the true meaning of, hang on a second. It's my favorite season, only comes once a year. I'll show you the true meaning of my holiday cheer.
I like it.
Hey, yeah, that totally works. Great idea, thanks a ton. Here's the next line. Ready? Pay attention now. If you bring mistletoe, you knock me off my guard. And if you want my number, You know, for this one, I don't think words are gonna be enough. I'm gonna need some inspiration to make it come together. If you've got anything to show me that you think will help me out, let me know.
I have the card.
If you bring mistletoe, you'll knock me off my guard. But if you want my number, I'll give you my business card. Hey, that totally works. Really, thanks so much. I'd never be able to write a song like this without you.
Seriously, just 2 lines?
A Christmas-themed love song? Aren't those supposed to be pretty tacky?
All right, now I need your help with just one more line.
3.
I promise it's the last one. This one's been driving me up a wall. I hope you can tackle it as well as you did the other. Ready? Here we go. This is harmony. I think we're vibing the same tones. We can ride this beat with a nice pair of,
Headphones.
damn it. This is getting embarrassing. There's no way to salvage this one without some seriously fresh inspiration, yo. Don't lose hope. I'm sure it'll hit us any second now.
I'm so glad I still have these.
This is harmony. I think we're vibing the same tones. We can ride this beat with a pair of GX Ultra beats.
No,
That doesn't rhyme.
I was going for headphones.
Oh man, you might need to find some more inspiration. I'm gonna keep thinking, but let me.
Haven't you ever rapped?
Yes, I have. Shut up. Oh, I haven't.
We can't go anywhere until we... This is genius. The contrast of the art's colors to the walls. Who are the junks and to who...
Howdy!
Cactus Canary.
Hey there. I go.
Omae wa mo shinde...
Okay.
Wait, those are...
Let's see if the donuts work.
This is harmony. I think we're vibing the same tones. We can ride this beat with a pair of yummy Christmas scones.
He does know those are donuts, right?
Now that's what I call a tasty beat. That was amazing. I can't believe you pulled it off. Whatever you do for work now, it doesn't matter. You should become a musician.
I'm good.
We totally become rivals, and I bet you that... On second thought, you keep your day job. This is my territory. You feel me?
Yes.
But you did help out in a huge way, so I guess you're cool. Go on in and see Nanya whenever you want. I'll just be chilling out here, soaking up the inspiration of my surroundings, baby.
Here, you can keep the scones. It was nice meeting you, Formula.
Hey, you too, little Bob Blue. Hey, that kind of rhyme.
Let's go.
Okay, in we go. Done with the writing. Ah. Let's talk to question mark.
Nope. Nope, I don't know you. You got someone willing to vouch for you? If not, get out of my shop. Charlie? Yeah, I remember him. That TV guy runs his mouth a lot. Yeah. Paid good enough.
Uh-huh.
All right then, what can I do for you? Sure, if that's what you want to call me.
Uh-huh.
If your credit's clear, you can call me whatever you want. Enough foreplay. What can I do for you?
Yeah.
A fresh install, custom firmware, maybe an upgrade? I can pretty much do it all. But most people come in here for VR implants. Turns out brain surgery is expensive, yeah?
We're in a bad situation. Local news articles are being mysteriously altered after they've been posted to the mesh, even while the originals are still online. Charlie Novas are being manipulated as well, and he pointed us in your direction. It didn't start happening until after he had his implant upgraded.
What are you, cops? No, worse. You're journalists. Get the hell out of my shop!
Eee.
I have a business to run. I don't have time to answer shit about shit that don't got shit to do with me. You found the door before? Find it again. And tell Charlie he can get someone else to do him a rush job when he's back on stims and needs a workaround. He ain't welcome around here anymore.
Eee, not what I wanted.
Give us a moment, please. I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of being given the runaround by these meatbags.
Oh boy.
We could just find some bribe or blackmail to get what we want from this Nanya. But I think it's time to take matters into our own hands. I have an idea. Keep him occupied for a few minutes. Just do what you normally do and ask questions. Nothing about the blog post, though. We don't want to set him off. Just keep him talking. It'll only take a minute.
Are you gonna get going, or am I gonna have to call someone to make you get going? I didn't.
We were just hoping to get some more background information on the kind of implant he has so we can follow other leads.
Shit. Fine, whatever. I'll tell you what you want, within reason. Doctor-patient confidentiality and all that. Just promise me it'll get you the hell out of my shop a little sooner.
I mean, I'll try to be out of here as soon as possible.
Sorry for this. Our circumstances have gotten serious. We're following anything we can all the way to the end.
There's no way to hack a VR implant like Charlie's.
Okay.
I mean, you can definitely install hostile firmware on one, but you can't just load whatever program you want without the user's knowledge.
Okay.
Any changes to the loaded firmware will trigger some really obvious visual indicators to let you know something's being changed, and those are put in on the hardware level. I've never heard of anyone being able to circumvent them. The only person who could have loaded hostile firmware on there is me. And don't try and go there. I get paid too much to risk my reputation over changing a few blog posts.
What about using the mesh to mess with the implant? Is there some way to change the input remotely?
No, the implant itself doesn't have any kind of wireless connection. You have to use a headset with an induction coil for I/O. Wireless just doesn't have the bandwidth for it.
Okay.
You might be able to try infecting a ROM with some virus that screws with the I/O, but you only use a connection to a ROM for AR HUDs. They can't handle full simulation. You'd need a full rig and a hardline connection to the net to do that. So, I'd give it a big maybe. If that's actually how it all happened, they probably would have found whatever infected his ROM way before you showed up here to bother me.
Could it have just been faulty parts? Not to be too blunt about it, but this field of expertise is a little disreputable. Maybe your supplier sent you an implant with something fishy preloaded.
Damn it. Look, I get it. I'm working out of an old auto garage on the bad side of town. But I'm a fully licensed cyber surgery tech. This entire business is legitimate.
It doesn't mean you aren't being screwed
It isn't illegal
over.
to install custom parts or firmware in any current generation implants. It just breaks the warranty. My business keeps a low profile so we don't run into bogus patent infringement lawsuits from Flower Cybernetics or whatever shell company they decide to come after you with. All of my parts are sourced direct from the original manufacturer, completely above board.
Okay.
So if they're bad, they were built bad by the factory. Now, is that all? I have appointments to keep. Yeah, whatever.
You may not know this, but I have a finely tuned sense of electromagnetic fields. All ROMs do. We need to be able to maintain optimal contact with the mesh, catalog and use various wireless transmissions, and avoid areas with dangerously high interference. Your stock off-the-shelf ROM has very little command over the frequencies available to be scanned. But I'm starting to realize how very little of me is stock or off-the-shelf after the changes Hayden made. That means when the humidity is low, the air fairly sings for me, amongst other things. Meaning, in layman's terms, I could read his monitor over his shoulder while being across the room.
Okay then.
Well, some. I doubt I could have handled an LCD monitor. They require extra parts I just don't have. And the fidelity is a bit low. Anyways, Nadia looked up his client records on Charlie, and I got some of the names of his other customers off of the spreadsheet. One in particular stands out, Shotaro Otsuka.
Oh god.
Mr. Otsuka is a moderately prominent tech blogger, respected, perhaps a bit vitriolic. He catches my attention though because historically he has been very critical of Parallax in his posts. Recently though, the tone has been increasingly moderate, and now he is almost effusive in his praise. His fans are accusing him of shilling for the company, but many of his earliest posts show some of the same manipulations that we saw from Augmented Eye and Nova's blog. Now it's like he's being ghost-written entirely. Couldn't hurt to check, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if it
I've
has
marked
nothing
the
to do with
location of Shotaro
with what
Otsuka's
happened
apartment on your
to
map.
Hayden, it's
After you.
definitely turning out weird. Oh, now it's raining? Seriously?
This is the building. Mr. Otsuka must do well for himself, considering the neighborhood. Not the priciest section of Neo SF, but nice enough for a self-employed tech blogger. Perhaps we should just ring the bell?
Am I a tech blogger?
We both know it won't be that easy, but it's important to maintain some courtesies.
Greetings, guests. I am LJ2. Shotaro Otsuka's wrong. Shotaro was not expecting any company at this hour, but I will let him know you are here. Sorry for the wait. Please hold on for just a moment while I fetch him.
Okay.
That's encouraging. That was odd. Maybe try the bell again.
Greetings, guests. I am LJ2. Shotaro Otsuka's wrong. Shotaro was not expecting any company at this hour, but I will let him know you are here. Sorry for the wait. Please hold on for just a moment while I fetch him.
What is taking so long? All right, third time's the charm, right? Once more, with...
Greetings, guests. I am LJ2.
Something...
Shotaro was not expecting any... Sorry for the wait.
Why can't this ever be Thank Hayden for system redundancies. Well, that's that. Let's see if we can find a way into Mr. Oates.
Hey! Didn't I see you earlier at TMI? Nice to meet you. I'm Sky. You weren't prepared for the weather, huh? Your ROM looks fancy enough to keep track of that.
Mr. Otsuka's apartment is on the second floor. The fire escape should give us access to his window. We just need something to let us reach it. I'm sure there's some piece of detritus or loose end laying around we could use. Oh, that's how these things always work.
Kitty!
How do we reach...
You weren't prepared for the weather, huh?
About that.
You want my umbrella?
Not for the weather. We need to use the hook handle to reach the fire escape ladder so we can pull it down.
Oh, you live here and lost your keycard, huh? I totally understand. I do that all the time. But look, as much as I'd love to give you this umbrella, I'm kinda using it right now. Where I come from, see, we're all about equal trades. It's part of our culture.
Gym culture?
Sorry, but unless you've got anything interesting to exchange for it, I'm gonna hold on to this. Don't want to get wet.
Let's see, do I have anything here?
These are pretty cool, but I'm not big into music. I like video games.
Let's see here. do? Have anything at home? No. Where can I go? Dang it. Maybe something here?
Don't bug it. It already seems... Let's not choose...
Patient, have you been recovered?
Where else can I go? Market Street, TMI Entertainment, Stardust.
Welcome to Star.
Maybe there's something in here. Oh, cat's gone.
Hey, is this real? The real Yannick Fairlight?
You know him?
Of course I do! He's one of the most innovative tech minds of the last few generations! Can I please have this? I'll give you the umbrella. Yours to keep if you want.
I think it's a fair trade.
Thanks! Here you... This is so exciting! I'm gonna go call him right now!
Wait, he...
Call him? Maybe that wasn't the best idea. Oh well, now we have our tool, and a pretty spiffy one at that. Let's go!
He's not gonna be happy.
Excellent work!
That doesn't seem good.
This window is unlocked. I'm not sure. My olfactory sensors detect chemicals associated with decay. It's unfamiliar to me. That's better.
Oh no.
Let's take a look around. Shotaro must be plugged into the mesh. He hasn't even noticed us.
I don't think that's the case.
I feel like I could scream without him knowing. Ah! Mr. Otsuka! Nothing.
I don't think...
Hello, guest. Shotaro has been a bit under the weather recently, so he has not been receiving anyone. He is trying very hard to keep up with his deadlines, but I will check and see if he has a moment to speak with you.
We just checked, and he seems busy.
Is there anything else I might assist you with? A drink, perhaps? Shotaro has been under the weather for some time, but I could not tell you precisely when. He rarely has visitors or goes on outings, so this is only slightly abnormal behavior for him.
Huh.
In fact, you are the first visitor he has had in a while. Several days, in fact. Perhaps you could ask him about it yourself. I will check and see if he has a moment to speak with you. I run regular self-checks and have noticed no irregularities in either my hardware or software.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate your concern. If you think I am behaving erratically, perhaps you could mention it to Shotaro. He is skilled at maintenance. He is. Shotaro is a diligent man, even in the face of such adversity. If you are a reader of his work, his next significant piece will be going online tomorrow. I will not spoil it for you. Very well. Let me know if you need anything. I'm always happy to assist.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh no, we're too late. It looks like he's been here for a couple of days, maybe a little longer. That means whoever did this did it before we even found out about all of this. Stabbed in the chest, right through the back of the chair.
Yeah, that's...
Looks like it severed his carotid artery. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I can't help but wonder if this was done by the same person who assaulted Zin. His ROM doesn't even think anything is wrong. We need to hurry.
Yeah,
If I'm right, everyone we've talked to so far is in more danger than we thought.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Someone is following us. We have to find his computer so I can see if I can pull anything relevant off of it. You interrogate his ROM. Maybe you can find out why it's acting so strange. No wonder he was stacking up the food like this.
Shotaro has been a bit under the weather recently, so he has not been receiving anyone.
Uh-huh.
He is trying very hard to keep up with his deadlines, but I will check and see if he has a moment to speak with you.
That's okay. We'll wait.
Is there anything else I might assist you with? A drink, perhaps?
It shut itself down again. Let's see if we can pull some useful information off of Mr. Otsuka's computer. If we can find it.
So there's the desk. Huh.
I'll start downloading these files. I finished my examination of Mr. Otsuka's computer. I didn't find anything particularly interesting, but I copied some files to be examined later. If we're all done here, we should hurry and go warn Nanya about what we found. Charlie and Sympathy, too. They might be in immediate danger, so we must act fast. Let's head for Nanya's business.
Yeah.
We shouldn't disturb him. Hey! That's better.
Okay, I did that for a reason, but okay. Oh yeah, that's just gonna have me back up, isn't it?
Shit! What the hell are you doing back here? Wait, let me guess. You stole some of my files, or hacked my brain, or used telepathy or some shit. Found out someone else got hit by your little ghost in the machine, and when you got there, found out he was deader than New Disco. That close enough?
That is distressingly accurate.
Well, it wasn't much of a damned guess. Charlie Nova is dead.
Oh no!
What? Charlie is...
The autocab he was in drove him right off the bridge and into the bay.
Someone is...
It's been all over the news for the last 10 minutes, and I'm not looking to be next. I'm getting the hell out of Neo-SF, and I'm gonna forget that I ever saw you, ever knew Charlie, ever gave a shit about any of this. Hell, maybe I'll pick up a new career. I'm less likely to get murdered for being a fry cook. That's for damn sure.
I'd have to agree.
Have a good
No!
night.
Oh no! No! Why is this happening? There was no one in that car. No heat signatures, no wireless emissions, nothing. That wasn't even an auto cab. It's a manual. I don't know. That's it. This is too much. I've had enough. I don't care who's controlling the news anymore. Almost everyone we've talked to so far has died, and I can't live with any more blood on my hands. We're not investigating this lead any further. As of right now. Logically, I know that. We haven't set out to harm anyone.
We just found...
But someone is using us as a stalking horse, hiding behind our investigation to clean up whatever this is. If they want to keep taking out people involved in this, they're going to have to dig them up without our help.
But then how are we going to find out what's going on?
We don't have any other leads anyway. Thank you for sticking with me, though. We have more pressing avenues of inquiry to make. Let's move on.
Okay, then. Oh, Lord. Oh, boy. Seriously? Okay.
Well, we should go to Melody's home and at least meet her.
Well, I guess we're doing the other line of inquiry. I wouldn't...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was wool gathering. I see we've arrived at the Melody Flores residence. It's quite impressive. But that's to be expected, considering that she is still the majority owner of the Flower Cybernetics Group. despite retiring from day-to-day operations at the company.
Yep.
I wonder how she and Hayden first began working together. Sorry, back on task. Is there anything you'd like to know before we head inside? Flower Cybernetics was established in the early 2000s by Melody's mother, Antonella.
Uh-huh.
It started out developing cutting-edge medical tech, including advanced prosthesis and nanoparticle diagnostic and treatment technologies. They were vastly successful when they perfected the first synthetic nerve mesh, allowing direct connection and control between the nervous system and a cybernetic prosthesis. The majority of their early projects were defense technologies for the American military.
I see.
Developing ruggedized military prosthesis for use on injured soldiers, and then eventually electively for special forces. This research line culminated in the development of brain-controlled androids as shock troops, long since barred by international law.
Makes sense.
Melody took over the company from her aging mother, and she fought against developing further military hardware from that point on. She pushed the company to use the BCA technology for the company's original goals of medical advancement, as well as developing the first direct link virtual reality implants.
Uh-huh.
The company is largely successful on a global scale, despite continued legislative movement against extensive cybernetic use, especially brain implants.
Okay.
He did, and I can't shine much light on that.
Okay.
I know that System 1 worked with Flower to help develop the first operating systems for the direct link virtual reality implants, so perhaps it happened during that time. Also, Flower eventually went with a different company for future models of the implant, but there was never any public talk of a personal falling out between the heads of the companies. I'll scrape the mesh for more rumors, but they'll only be that, rumors.
Understandable.
I can do my best to parse fact from fiction, but it blurs too much for me to be sure what's real.
Okay.
No time like the present, then.
We walk in and find out she's dead. Oh. It's a bear.
It appears so.
It's kind of adorable.
Your guess is as good as mine. Mine says we can go in. Should we?
I don't know how to feel about this.
Oh, wow! Swanky! What? I have been trying to increase my usage of colloquialisms.
Understandable.
Is swanky too out of date?
It's certainly before my time.
Oh, Miss Flores! Excuse us for the intrusion. My name is Turing, and...
Oh, I know who you are.
I can explain. I know you don't like Dr. Fairlight very much, but I assure you there's a situation.
Fairlight? I didn't realize Hayden's research had become a charity case.
Oh.
Though I suppose
I think we found our murderer.
Will throw money at anything that raises his profile on the mesh.
Wait, you know Hayden? Also, we actually only just met Dr. Fairlight yesterday.
Oh, that's too bad. Now Pat won't have to eat you.
What?
Though I'm not sure your gears would have been good for his digestion.
Actually, madam, I'm not comprised of gears.
Well, either way, he's on a diet.
is actually kind of adorable.
This philosophy is how I lead my life. Sometimes you eat the bear, and sometimes the bear, well, he eats you. Do you understand?
Not really.
Look, I don't have all day to entertain you, Turing, nor your new friend. Not even for Hayden. You don't have time to waste if you're going to find him either.
Oh.
Right.
If you were one of Fairlight's worker bees, you wouldn't have made it through the door. So why are you here to badger me about poor Hayden?
You have me at a disadvantage, Ms. Flores. You seem far ahead of us on this matter.
Just call me Melody, darling. And of course. But I'll share a secret or two with you.
I have so many questions. Do you know what's happened to Hayden?
I wish I didn't. Maybe you don't want to either.
Please, Melody, any information you might have. We haven't had access to any of his research notes, and couldn't track down any collaborators he may have been working with. Perhaps if we know more, we might be able to nail down a solid motive.
Well, I don't know if I can speculate on that, beyond the usual corporate infighting. Not that Parallax is known for that, of course. We had been catching up recently, and he mentioned feelings of being watched. He started to worry he had been discussing your development with the wrong people.
I'm starting to feel like you're the wrong people.
When he stopped returning my calls, and now that you've shown up with a total stranger, it becomes clear what happened.
I see. Can you tell us anything else about his disappearance?
Oh, I'm afraid not, dear. I've been around long enough to know what's coincidence and what isn't.
We were hoping you might be able to shine some light on my origins. Fairlight mentioned that you had worked with Hayden in the past.
I see Hayden didn't neglect curiosity in your personality makeup. Well, you and I haven't properly met, but considering how often Hayden badgered me for design schematics of Flower's latest neural implants, I might as well be your aunt? We'll go with that. I wouldn't mind being an aunt, even to a blue-headed robot.
I'm touched, Melody.
Well then, I'm willing to answer your questions for now.
Indeed, I don't see the connection between your company and Hayden's research into machine sapience.
Oh, Hayden wasn't researching machine sapiens. At least not primarily. Not to diminish the importance of your creation, Turing, but it's best you know the truth. Hayden is mainly interested in developing a way to transfer human consciousness into a machine matrix.
Wasn't that basically
you can see
what
why neural
sapience
implants
is?
would obviously be an integral part of that.
Oh, I didn't realize.
The concept of transferring the human mind into a computer has been an attractive goal for decades.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can
Functional
understand that.
immortality is a powerful lure. The brain is an immensely complicated machine, and even though we know the right buttons to push to make pictures show up, we still can't replicate the entire thing as a technological construct. Even with the virtual reality implants, we're really just relying on the brain's ability to make sense of nonsensical signals.
True.
So Hayden decided the best way to make a machine more like the human brain would be to work in the opposite direction.
Reverse engineering.
Instead of mimicking how the human brain worked, he started writing code that mimicked the functioning of the human mind. Think of it like convergent evolution.
Reverse engineering.
Two species adapt in similar ways, but on completely different continents. Hayden is a crack programmer when it comes to information collating. It's why Parallax hired him when they did. So he wrote a bunch of self-modifying learning algorithms that were, frankly, baffling and let them loose. Poke and prod them here and there to make sure they value the same things humans do. And we eventually end up with you, Turing.
Interesting. Hayden never revealed any of this to me.
I imagine he's pretty tight-lipped. You were the first prototype he considered a real success, and he was afraid of contaminating your development before he had a chance to make good observations. I didn't say that. Hayden was quite interested in Turing, even if he is just a step to further research. In fact, he was preparing to publish his findings involving Turing, and I know it's going to make one heck of a splash in the scientific community.
That might have been.
See, the most impressive part about you, Turing, is that you're surprisingly stock.
I assure you, Melody, my construction involves only the latest and greatest in ROM prototype technology.
Exactly. You're not off the shelf, but you're still just a souped-up ROM, more or less like every other one out there. Your personality algorithms are impressive, but they don't require some new space-age technology to work. Hayden is going to propose that human consciousness transference does not require special brain-like hardware architecture, but merely the right software wrapper to interface with the hardware. Much like how you function.
I suppose that is correct. Still,
He's saying
my
the technology is
personality
available.
matrices do take up substantial amounts of my processing power. Wouldn't custom hardware have capabilities that better serve such a demanding specialized task?
Sure, there's still plenty of reason in trying to make a computer that works just like a human brain. Efficiency is an important part of that. But if Hayden can emulate the human mind in existing technology, it means we can start the immortality now, rather than waiting for hardware to catch up with Hayden's software. Frankly, I'm not terribly interested in living forever. But there's more than enough people who are. Phew, if you can even call it involvement. It's a small city, and if you're in the tech sector, you are never more than 2 degrees removed from anyone else.
Understandable.
When he started looking into this pet project of his, he came right up to my door and demanded access to the research logs behind our earlier implants. Cheeky, but it was impactful and disruptive, as they like to say around here. I couldn't care less about Flowers' patents anymore, so I gave him what he wanted, just to see what he would do. I'm frankly more impressed than I expected I would be, but don't tell him that.
Don't worry. I won't.
Oh, that was a compliment, dear.
Thank you for this, Melody. I understand so little of my origins.
Well, I'm sorry I don't know more of the specifics.
Better than
Hayden kept me up to date on his progress, but only in the vaguest of ways. If you can hunt down his notes, I'm sure they'll tell you more.
Of course, we'll keep looking. Now, perhaps we could ask some other questions?
Sure. Oh, hell, that old bastard and I have been flashing daggers at each other for the better part of 20
years? Wow.
I contracted out the software development for our first-gen direct link VR neural implants to System 1. Things were going great, but after the first models sold like gangbusters, Yannick tried to get into bed with me. Literally.
Oh, wow.
I turned him down. Very politely, I might add. And then, suddenly, all of the cooperation between our companies dried up.
Okay, then.
We've been at it back and forth ever since. I'd be damned careful about trusting him if I were you. He's a snake, and he'll do anything he can to get what he wants. Still, I suppose if he tried again now, I might not turn him down.
Okay, then.
It would be fun to needle him about me still having my own company when he doesn't have his.
Actually have a point there.
Good. I can get back to my retirement.
Thank you for your time, Melody.
Oh, one more piece of information for you, if you'd like it. I've got the contact info for a Vincent Mensa, who I think might be of help to you.
Okay.
Vincent was working more closely with Hayden inside Parallax, mostly on his company-approved research on data collating algorithms for the mesh. I'll send him a message and ask him to meet you somewhere. He owes me a favor anyway, and might be able to give you some more information on anything else Hayden may have been working on.
That would be fantastic, Melody. Perhaps Golden Gate Park?
Be careful, Turing. I don't like Fairlight's stench all over this scenario. Don't show him too many of your cards.
Cards? This euphemism is unfamiliar to me.
Don't tell him anything if you can. Fairlight is more dangerous the more he's informed.
Thank you, Aunt Melody. Wish us luck.
Bear. Bear. I want to talk to Bear. Oh, he's a butler. Butler Bear. We're gonna need to talk to.
Can I help you? I don't really have time to talk. I'm waiting for someone.
Are you Vincent Mensa? We're here for a meeting on behalf of Melody Flores.
Oh, good. You're Melody's people. Do you have everything that I asked for?
There must be some miscommunication. Melody said that you would be able to provide us with some information about Hayden Weber's projects within Parallax. He has gone missing, and any information we get may be useful.
Damn that old woman.
What?
We had a deal. She promised me, and I'm not giving up anything until I get what I need. I already know Hayden is missing. Why else would I be willing to sell corporate secrets to Flower? This was my chance to get out of the city. Instead, she sends the two of you, hat in hand with nothing. I'm assuming you're Hayden's little pet AI?
Insulting, but accurate.
Look, I'm sorry to come off callous. I do want to help. Hayden was a colleague and a friend, and I want to know he's okay. But I also need help getting the hell out of Neo SF, and now. My info is my leverage, and it's not for free.
I can understand.
I'll just have to find another buyer. Maybe after I make another deal, I'll be able to pass it to you.
Perhaps we could assist you? My friend here is a terrific journalist. Being skilled at hunting down people and information is part of the job.
I don't know. Look, I need 100,000 credits, an untraceable car, and a fake passport for me and my wife, Francesca. If you can get me all that, I'll give you anything you want. Hayden's research notes, what I know about Parallax, my company's security credentials, whatever. If you're really sure journals can come up with that kind of stuff in one day. Might? Dear God, I'm doomed.
Melody only gave us a rough sketch of what you need. The more you can tell us about the situation, the sooner we can fulfill your request.
Sure, as long as it isn't the juicy stuff. I'm the head applications engineer for their data analysis division. Or maybe was, is what I should be saying.
Since you're leaving.
If Hayden is the big brain who comes up with the math that runs the search algorithms, I'm the guy who figures out how to collect and apply the data that we get. We've worked pretty closely for years, but he's head and shoulders above me as far as theory goes. Hayden built a fully independent machine intelligence in his spare time.
True.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash myself here. I'm a good software engineer, probably one of the best. But machine intelligence? In a form factor like yours? Now that blows my mind. We've got full immersion, virtual reality, yet most people would still call you science fiction.
True.
If you say so.
Because Parallax is rotting from the inside out. Hayden going missing is the last straw, and it's a big-ass straw. There is... how do I put this without giving it away? There's a new project about to roll out, and it's going to change everything about how Parallax does their business worldwide.
Okay, then.
Since the launch of the MeshNet, we've had some board shakeups, and the people at the top are different from the ones who previously run the company. The altruism the company displayed in the past is gone. They're harder, more ruthless.
Sounds about right.
More concerned with profits and power than ever before. Not just richest company in the valley power either. Real power. My guess? Parallax got rid of Hayden because he was about to do something that would get in the way of that.
Ooh.
If they're willing to get rid of the brightest mind on their payroll, what's to stop them from getting rid of me? There's a half dozen people who could do my job. So I'm getting out before I accidentally step on the wrong person's toes and end up at the bottom of the bay.
I can understand that.
Nothing concrete. I probably wouldn't have noticed anything out of the ordinary. I mean, Hayden goes out for a couple days all the time, right? Conferences and guest teaching. He doesn't exactly share his itinerary with me. I tried asking around and no one will say anything. If he had jumped ship, went to a different company, it would be the talk of the week at the water coolers.
Oh yeah.
Instead, dead silence. Thankfully, he allowed me to keep backups of most of his work, simply because I cross-referenced it so much. He didn't like having it all in one place anyway.
True.
Bring me what I asked for, and I'll tell you more. Sure, I guess I can stick around here for a while. I need to make some calls anyway. If you do manage to get what I need, bring it here today and you'll get anything you want. Forwarding photos and info for the passports to Turing now. And I really hope you can do this. I'd rather give it to you than some other corporation anyway. See you soon.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure where to get fake passports or an untraceable card. The only shady folks we know are those punks who vandalized Hayden's apartment. I doubt they could point us in the right direction, but a long shot is better than no shot.
Oh, Lord.
They might agree to help us in repayment for the damage done to the apartment. They seemed remorseful. We should check Market Street for them, in case they regularly hang out there. As for the rest, perhaps Dr. Fairlight or Melody could spot us the credits. That certainly is no small amount, but is unlikely to cause much consternation for either of them, assuming they are as dedicated to helping as they claim. Melody is assumably home as usual, and Fairlight did let us know he'd be at the hospital. We could ask either of them for assistance. Up to you to decide which would be a better course of action.
Okay. Let's go to Market Street and get this taken care of first. No.
Oh, crap! It's that reporter in the bot again! Cheese it, Ollie!
Hold on a moment! We're just here to ask the two of you for a favor. You don't need to run again.
I knew you didn't have the guts to mess with me!
Uh-huh.
Guts?
And why would we want to help you?
We did trash that apartment, Chad.
Yeah? So?
We also didn't report you to the police for it.
Yeah? So?
And they still could.
Oh. Alright, well, spill it then. I ain't got all day. Can't you see me and Oliver are busy?
You're kind of just standing there.
We need some assistance with some illicit activity that, statistically, individuals in your age bracket are likely to have experience with.
Oh! So this is one of those things where you need a streetwise kid to show you the ropes. So, what's the thread? B&E? War driving? Copyright infringement? Search bombing?
Is search bombing actually illegal?
It's against the terms of service, so probably,
Oh,
at least in
Lord.
California. Oh, that's nothing, if you can pay. Ollie can whip up a couple that'll work good enough to get you past a bouncer or a cop doing sniff tests. He's a wizard with a printer and a lifted wallet.
It's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
We need falsified passports that can get two people past the border safely.
Oh, yeah, I don't think Ollie can do that. Can you?
Not without equipment a lot more expensive and illegal than what I already have.
What about that guy who got at least that unrestricted mesh card when she was on probation?
That's not really the same thing, Chad. But it wouldn't hurt to give him a call. Give me a few minutes. This guy is pretty sketchy, very cloak and dagger. I'll have to play middleman.
Excellent. I'll forward you the relevant documents and photos.
Oh man, now I'm starting to feel left out. Ollie gets to show off all his cool connections. You sure you don't need someone's head kicked in a little? That's my area of expertise in our little duo. Well, That and petty larceny.
We might have something that will suit your skill set. Let's just get the passports first, if you can stay calm for that long.
You sure yap a lot more than any of the ROMs I've ever owned. What's the deal? You install some new conversation routines Ollie ain't had the chance to nerd out about yet? Well, they're top notch. Very bleeding edge.
I don't run traditional ROM VI personality software. I am, in fact, the first fully sapient machine intelligence. Well, at least that I know about.
Which means what exactly? In English?
It means he's a person, Chad, not a toy. Now keep it down. I'm still on the phone.
Oops. And yes, what he said.
Well, that's awesome. You ain't so bad. For a tin can.
Jeez.
Tin can? Really? I'm composed almost entirely out of plasteel and silica. Has no one come up with better insults for robots since the turn of the century? ROMs have been out for almost 2 decades.
Yeah, that's a good point. Give me a sec. I'm pretty good at name calling too.
Oh no, I'm sorry I brought it up.
Just hold on a second. Underclocked? A bit.
Don't hurt yourself, Chad.
I'll get back to you, Bubblehead.
Okay, I talked to the guy. He said he'll do it, but he only works in trade. A couple of passports are gonna run us... one signed poster for Magical Commander Yukino? Yukino at the Gates to the Deep?
Course. It's always that Japanese crap.
It's not my fault they make the best VR dramas. Maybe you can do better?
Probably.
Anyway, where can we get a poster like that?
I'm not sure. Probably nearby. I've done switches with this guy before, and he never asks for something that'll take too long to get. My guess is he's a local that uses people like us as a way to nab something he's had his eye on. We'll help you look for it.
Do you think it would be okay to take that?
Hey. I have a feeling I might find something in here.
Oh, there it is! I knew I saw a poster for Magical Commander Yukino somewhere around here. I should have remembered Ramona had one.
You know this lady?
Sure. We talk sometimes when I'm getting our drinks. You're usually too busy provoking people to notice.
You call it provoking. I call it spontaneous enthusiasm for healthy rivalry.
Okay.
There's a bit of a line. We'll have to wait a few minutes before we can talk to her.
We could just do a smash and grab. Simple and effective.
We can't do that! She knows who we are!
Besides, you are pretty distinctive in appearance.
Yeah.
This is the most boring felony I've ever been an accessory to.
Look, we'll just stand in line.
Like a bunch of clumps? Chumps? What is the big picture anyway, Blue Bomber?
I'm not sure it's wise to spread it around, Chad. For either of us, the less you know, the less reason anyone has to bother you.
Screw that, Static. I'm not heading to juvie not knowing what for. Spill Spill the beans, or I'll spill them for you.
Your persistence is already legendary, Chad. Fine.
Oh god, don't tell him.
If you really must know, we are going to trade the passports for some information regarding the disappearance of my creator. His apartment was the one you trashed.
Oh shit, that Hayden dude is your dad? And they snatched him? Oh, that's so messed up.
Well, Dad after a fashion. He raised me.
Man, I hope you find the dudes that took him. I hope he's okay.
It seems very unlikely.
Oh man, I don't know what to say, you know? I mean, I still have my dad, but he's...
Chad?
He's never really been around. Too busy trying to save the world from itself. Even now, he's over there standing in front of that damn clinic.
Yep, that's what I thought.
And I thought I could find a way to make him... Whatever. I might as well nuke that drive. It ain't gonna sink.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think I understand what you mean, Chad.
Hell yeah! Dudes gotta stick together, you know?
Dudes?
Don't matter if you're a robot or what. We all got the same shit to deal with. Gotta grab destiny by the horns and make your own mark. People keep saying that, and I keep wanting to punch them for it.
It's probably the hair.
You think? Well, I ain't willing to give up my dude just so people will think I'm a brain.
Okay.
Got an image to protect.
I still think it would be better in yellow.
Yeah? Maybe we can get a box of dye on the way home.
The line is finally cleared up. Let's go talk to Ramona.
Yeah. Let's talk to her and get me that poster.
Hey, Allie. Oh, you have such a cute ROM with you.
Salutations, Ramona.
What can I do for you all?
Ahem.
Oh, this is my friend, Chad.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
We were hoping you might be able to give us your assistance, Ms. Rogers.
We want to make a trade for that magical Commander Yukino poster over there. It's necessary for us to get some pretty important information.
No way! Not happening. Nuh-uh. Yukino is off limits. How does life and death depend on a nerdy poster? Look, I don't even care. That poster was signed by Takeko herself. It's one of a kind, and I'm not giving it up.
I'd rather not drag you any further into this than necessary, but I promise that we're not overstating it. This is a dire situation, and people have already died.
Jeez. Look, whatever you're doing sounds sketch as hell. I and Magical Commander Yukino herself want no part of it. I don't even see how the poster can help.
Man, you nerds sure do love your cheap crap from the net.
Cheap crap?
Yeah, that's
I'll
not
have you
cheap.
know, that poster is worth hundreds of credits.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Takeko passed away years ago, so there aren't any more of them getting signed. It's special.
Sure it is.
He doesn't get it. He's not in the fandom.
thankfully.
Jeez.
It's not just a poster. It was a gift from someone.
Okay, I can understand that.
Someone I care about, okay? Besides, you can't get another one. Takako passed away a few years ago.
Perhaps there's something else that would make a suitable trade?
You aren't hearing me, are you? It has sentimental value. You can't replace that. Look, you'll just have to order something off the mesh, because you can't have this one.
Oh, we don't have time. This lead will dry up by then.
Keep me out of this.
Okay, enough. How about this for a trade? I have an original keyframe cell from Pretty Champion Sailor Sirius, signed by Takako at home.
Whoa! You have a signed Sailor Sirius cell? That's super rare! They stopped doing keyframes by hand right around the time of her death.
You can't be serious, Ollie! You have that thing framed on your wall! Anyone shut up about it for a week after you got it!
This is important, Chad. You can't say you wouldn't do the same thing if someone had your dad. Think about Turing. I can't ask Ramona to give up something important to her if I'm not willing to do the same.
Maybe.
Look, okay, I don't know what's going on, but you can't give me that cell for the poster.
But we need...
Yeah, you'll get the poster. Whatever you're doing, it must be really important if you'd be willing to give that up. Do you have something more equal to trade, Ollie?
A couple of things, maybe.
We'll talk about it then. Maybe you can find me another one, too. Go ahead and take the poster.
Yes! No snatch and grab. What would you replace it with?
Thank you, Ramona.
Yes! I can't tell you how much it means to us, Ms. Rogers.
Sure. And, you think I could see that cell sometime, Ollie?
Of course! I'll bring it over when we talk about the trade.
So cool.
Would you just a plain old movie poster? Okay. I got the poster.
I don't like the way she was flirting with you, Ollie.
What are you talking about?
I know flirting when I see it, and I'm saying I don't like it. Not one bit.
Does it break up the dynamic duo?
Just talk about old anime sometimes, Chad. Neither of us are interested in the other.
Sure.
Well, we have the poster now. What's next?
Go ahead and call this number, Turing. He'll want to set up the drop with you, now that I've introduced you to him.
Sure. Change the subject.
I'll call him right now then. It's ringing.
You the ones looking for some papers?
We are, and we have the requested payment with us.
Good. We're gonna do this real professional-like. You know Stardust?
I do.
Head there. Leave the poster behind the Mega Phobator arcade cabinet, and get out. Come back 10 minutes later, and your stuff will be behind the machine.
I understand.
They're already there.
Good. I'll be waiting.
Well, that was very mysterious.
Yeah, that's how this guy is.
I have a feeling I know who it is.
I don't even know his name. And I've been getting things from him for a few years now.
Who cares? Let him play Spy Master if he wants. Let's hurry up to Stardust and get this over with. I've wasted enough of my day with this crap.
Go inside to make the drop. We'll wait out here.
Yeah. Don't want to get our IDs taken.
I suppose I should feign surprise.
Hey, it's a pretty cool set. Even if it is like 1,000,000 years old.
They don't really care about the IDs unless you try to hit the bar.
Found that one out the hard way.
We would have been fine if you hadn't taken a swing at the bouncer.
So I like the hard way.
We'll be right back, gentlemen. Try not to set the building on fire while we're gone. No security right now?
Oh, maybe it's...
Well, that should do. That was an awful lot of... I just don't understand the appeal of merchandise like this. I keep my important possessions on my data drive. Ah, that is true. Ramona seemed more concerned with it being a gift from a friend than as an item of importance in its own right. Perhaps it is necessity to keep such things around as tokens from better times.
Wait.
Perhaps I should pick up a few things from the apartment. Whatever's left. I do have perfect recall, but a few of Hayden's things would be nice reminders.
Yep.
Memories are better for remembering than reading. But that's enough navel-gazing. Let's head back outside so our benefactor can make the trade.
Y'all do the deal?
How did it go?
We left the poster behind the cabinet. Now we just need to wait for the switch.
I've never had to wait more than 5 minutes or so before. It shouldn't take long.
You said 10.
I wonder how he knows the drop happened and gets to it so fast.
He's already in there.
Don't matter. This guy's a solid feed, even if he likes to mess around.
What do you need these passports for anyway? You said to trade for information, but what's the full story?
Without going into too much detail, our informant needs to get out of Neo SF unnoticed. The passports are one part of that. We also need to obtain an untraceable car. I don't suppose the two of you could help with that?
No way, dude! Grand Theft Auto is a felony with a capital F! Besides, getting an untraceable car ain't in the same league as a piece of plastic that'll fool a hand scanner.
Chad's right.
Of course I'm right.
The city's traffic management system keeps track of all vehicles passively, even if you manage to circumvent their firmware and keep them from actively reporting to the network. You have to spoof the car as something permitted to be invisible for the CTOS to ignore it.
I don't want to mess with boosting cars anyway. The junks run that racket in Neo SF, and they don't play nice.
The junks, huh?
Especially with the HR.
Well, thank you either way. You've both done us a huge favor. Call it even for the apartment.
Yeah, Blue. No hard feelings. You give us a call if you need anything else, long as it'll help you find your pops.
We should get going, though. We were supposed to be home hours ago.
My dad won't notice, but Ollie's will flip. You take care. Don't get derezed.
Oh, wow, I
See
haven't
ya.
heard that in a long time.
Goodbye. Let's finish the trip. Here the passports are. Just now we need to... Jess is right over there. Perhaps she may know... Good thinking.
Yeah, she don't like me.
Oh, look. It's my favorite human and the mechanical sidekick. Did you find your guy? Or wait, let me guess. There's something else you need from me. Well, you haven't been terrible to deal with so far, so I'm willing to hear you out. Barely.
Well, it's better than nothing.
We need access to an untraceable car. An informant of ours needs to get out of the city without attracting the attention of Parallax, and is offering valuable information to us in exchange.
Seriously? Jesus, what kind of shit is in your life anyway? Actually, don't answer that. I don't want to be legally liable. I'm not sure why you think just because I defend a few folks in the rougher parts of the city that I would have that kind of connection. And even if one of my clients did run a carjacking business, it's not like society is clamoring to give hybrids legal jobs.
True.
Regardless, I'm not going to be an accessory to a felony, or let one of my clients be either. I won't go down that path.
Understandable.
I wouldn't know where to start anyway.
I know we're reaching, but this is important.
You just don't quit, do you? Okay, let me think. This might be a long shot, but you could try asking Majid. There are rumors he may have been involved in some shady stuff way back in the day.
Okay.
He'll probably be reluctant to talk about it, but there's a free lead for you. Get me another drink in exchange, will you? Later.
Well, what kind of drink would you like?
Huh. That went better than expected. I wonder if my charm is starting to pay off for us. Oh, you performed admirably as well. Onward we go.
Hey, friends, what can we get?
We were hoping you could give us a little information.
Sure, but first, let's get you a drink. What'll it be? Coming right up. I'll ask Gus if I don't know what it is. He's better with the weird kind of stuff people ask for these days. Some of these cocktails make me need a spa day.
This one is...
Does that sound good? Here you go. So, what did you need help with?
We've run into a roadblock in our search for Hayden.
Word on the street is that he's gone missing, which I'm sure you already know. What can I do?
Yes. An informant of ours needs secure transportation out of the city, but we don't have any contacts who would be able to get us an untraceable car. Jess mentioned that you used to engage in certain extra-legal activities. Perhaps you could point us towards someone who could help?
Yeah, he doesn't seem...
He doesn't do that kind of stuff anymore.
Right. Sorry, friends. I left that life behind a long time ago. Don't really keep in touch with that crew anymore.
Ah, of course. Completely understandable. Sorry to bother you then.
Well, no harm in asking, right? My reputation precedes me.
Don't let it go to your head.
Gus, I need to go to the back and gather up stuff to restock for the rush later on. Mind manning the bar for me?
Take your time. I think I can keep things under control.
Thanks. Love you, hun.
That leaves us at a dead end. Any ideas on how we should proceed? Some nose-to-the-ground journalist techniques for finding leads? That's a thought. Perhaps the light rail, or a ship. Let me run a quick meshnet search. No, I don't think that will work. Parallax themselves designed the operating system that runs the light rail. Remaining unobserved while right under the nose of the railway security system would be difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah.
As for a ship, we'd run into the same problems as with a car. They aren't hooked into the CTOS, but they do use active GPS guidance for automatic destination control. We'd have to find a way to remove it from the grid. Unlikely. That's not the worst idea. I don't think it would get noticed as long as the car had the appropriate registrations. But the permits to operate a manual vehicle are prohibitively expensive.
Oh, jeez.
A casual collector might still maintain one, but only a wealthy hobbyist would have the appropriate stickers to make the car roadworthy. We'd have to do a B&E, as Chad put it before. Risky.
No. Okay, the two of you are killing me here. Look, don't tell Majid about this. But, here.
Oh!
What is this, Gus?
Gus is the bad boy!
It's an automated vehicle maintenance scanner, with a few less than standard upgrades. When you circumvent its security codes, you can use it to scan a car's installed firmware and replace it with a new set that will spoof its presence on the city's network. That's the gist of it, but we don't have time to get into any specifics. You need to get the hell out of here with that before Majid gets back. Look, Majid has done a lot to turn his life around, to turn my life around. I really respect that about him, and it's part of why I fell in love with him. He did what I was never able to. That's how we met, you know? That old rough-and-tumble life we both led.
Oh.
But when Stardust struggled and needed money fast, I had to get back in the game to keep us afloat for a few years. I told him it was all angel loans, donations from patrons, lots of things. He'd be heartbroken if he found out I'm still in the game. I had to do whatever I could to keep our new life, even if only one of us is really living it.
Wow.
I may as well give this thing to someone who wants to use it for good, too.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate this, Gus.
I think that's the Yukino poster in the background.
We might finally be on our way to solving this mystery.
Yeah, well, you didn't get it from me, okay? Just get out of here and get on with your little Grand Theft Auto. And...
Of course.
Oh, Jess, your drink.
Huh. Actually did it, huh? Well, you scored a point. But don't think I don't have enough cuties around who can handle that. You've got more important things to be doing. Get a move on.
Well, now I think we're cooking with gas, as the colloquialism goes. I'm searching the mesh for instructions on how to use this device as we speak. Let's go look for some likely candidates. I should be ready by then. Pat. Could we see Melody? I guess that means yes?
Turing, I'm not saying I don't like seeing your little pixelated face. You're certainly better company than most of the humans I have to deal with. But I am a busy woman, you know? Lots to do.
You're retired.
Right, Pat? Traitor. Anyway, maybe we should space these little visits out a good bit further. Familiarity breeds contempt, after all. And I'm very good at contempt.
I apologize, Aunt Melody. You've stated before that you like your peace and quiet, but we need your assistance.
Oh, we're running with the aunt thing, are we?
Well, you.
Another woman would tell you not to butter her up, but oh, flattery will get you everywhere with me.
Lovely.
All right. What do you need? I can only imagine. If he's willing to turn coat on Parallax, I bet he feels like a mouse in a cat farm. I know they don't actually farm cats, Pat. It was a metaphor. Whatever, it was a simile then. I am not going to play semantics with you. Moving on. Tell me what the trouble is, and I'll try to conjure up a solution.
Yes, Mr. Mensa says he needs 100,000 credits before he's willing to speak openly. He also said that you already promised it to him, and that he won't be able to get out of the city without it. He'll give us the information once we have that, plus a few other things I'm certain we can get on our own.
What? You can't even scrape together that kind of money? Your friend's not much of a journalist, eh, Turing?
I don't know.
According to the statistics that I have found, it is unlikely that a journalist of any caliber less than the best would have that amount of liquid assets on hand. The pay for the profession just isn't that high, Aunt Melody.
Oh, I see. I guess it's one of those jobs people do because they get free review merchandise, eh?
Ninja assassin androids.
I can get you the money, Turing, but only because you're family. Just give Pat a few minutes to gather it. Yeah, just keep moving, you big brute.
I really love Pat.
While we wait, is there anything else you want to grill me over? Might as well save us both another visit. Smarter than I give him credit for, that's for sure. It's not the easiest thing in the world to measure, you know? He doesn't process language in the same way humans do, and even if he can understand me, my translation program just guesses at what he says most of the time.
Oh, you have a translator running from your neural implant.
Ah, yes, I'm cheating. Though, honestly, even without it, I have a pretty good idea of what he means most of the time. We've been together for a while now. Considering it only really works on large, typically predatory mammals, we don't have a lot of test subjects. It's a minefield of ethical concerns beyond just being prohibitively expensive. So Pat is a bear apart. At least until we can figure out how to apply the modified neural pathways without frying the brains of 90% of the subjects.
Ooh, boy.
The tech we developed is good. It just has a damned high mortality rate. Maybe one day there will be a bunch of talking tigers and dolphins building cities in the sea, but for now, we're stuck with creating beasts out of our own species.
I do. It's a little personal, though. I'd understand if you didn't feel like answering.
Just shoot, Turing. I can take it.
Long ago, you lost your mother. I was wondering, how did you deal with it? Hayden's only been gone for a few days, and I already feel like my circuits are going to lock up for good.
Oh, Turing, I'm not the right person to ask. I hated my mother.
Oh.
She's everything I thought wrong in the world, and when she was gone, I felt nothing but relief that I could start undoing the damage she did.
Well then.
Never mind the fact I had to watch her waste away from the cancer. Death was a blessing for us both. Besides, you'll find Hayden soon. Keep your chin up.
Oh. Blast it! Enough with this subterfuge! We already know Hayden was killed.
Oh, no.
I won't be getting him back.
I'm sorry, Turing. I still don't know what to tell you. I've lost people, but never anyone close enough to wound me. I don't know that I've ever had anyone close enough to do that. If you feel like talking about it, I'm willing to listen. Or make Pat do it anyway.
Lord.
Thank you. I don't know.
Stick it out. Time heals all wounds. Or so they say. This too shall pass. Being alone is easier, and Pat isn't such bad company. I mean, what do you want me to do? Cry about never having a husband, a few kids, and a white picket fence? I had a company to run, and my mother's legacy to fix. What's to say some spawn of mine wouldn't do the exact same thing to my flower, just the other way around?
True.
This branch of the Flores line will do well without any more knives being inserted in backs. Thank you very much.
You have that much enmity for your mother?
Have you seen what she did to North Korea? It's a wasteland of death and destruction. If we had kept going down the path she charted, the whole world would be like that.
The information on the mesh does seem to paint a grim picture.
Grim barely scratches the surface. I've been there. At least under the Kims it was barely functional. Now, my mother's monsters have ripped every last resemblance of humanity from the land. They stalk the night like horrific creatures of legend, keeping the populace in line through constant fear. A horror story straight out of the pages of Bram Stoker. That's her legacy. So I can't imagine I'd be a very good mother, just from the example I have to work with.
It's an example of what not to be.
That's life. I don't have any more regrets than anyone else my age does. My legacy will speak for itself, as my mother's did.
Here he comes. Hey, Pat.
Oh, Just in time, then. Take the cash and get moving. I can finally get back to whatever it was I was doing before you burst in here.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Aunt Melody. Your help has been invaluable to us.
Yes, yes. Brown knows later. You've got things to do, too.
I did not think I would feel such a strong resonance with Melody. We're connected by the barest of threads, but she is already important to me. Is that strange? I guess there's nothing to do but run with it. Some gifts are too valuable to look at too closely, lest they vanish into thin air, and I already have a penchant for overanalyzing things.
Yes, you do.
Let's get moving. We still have things to do before we can meet back up with Mr. Mensa.
Like, find that car.
Detective Rivers, to what do we owe the pleasure?
I wanted to check in with you away from the prying eyes of my corporate masters. It wasn't too hard to track you down here. Only took a slight abuse of power to follow your credit transactions in the AutoCAD system. Not much. Listen, I've hit a dead end on the investigation again, and I could really use another lead from the two of you. I had been busy hunting down I'm not sure if I want to call him a soldier of fortune or an assassin for hire. Either way, I tracked this guy down to see if he might have been hired by Parallax to snatch Hayden, but he's got an ironclad alibi for the relevant period of time.
Sounds about right.
That leaves me with nothing. Nada. Jack diddly shit. Do the two of you have anything to give me? Otherwise, I'm back to hunting down the froyo-hating robot ghost in the park. At least my superiors would be ecstatic, considering how much they keep riding my ass about it.
We're on thin leads ourselves, Detective Rivers. We have a meeting with someone from inside Parallax who might be able to give us answers, but he's unlikely to want to talk to the police. I just wish this... Never mind.
Buck up, Turing. I wish this was easier too. But with detective work, sometimes it's not about being clever. It's just about being more dogged and relentless than whoever you're chasing. You two are my new deputies, right? So keep your nose to the ground and keep digging. I still have a few contacts I can hit up to try finding out a little more. You let me know if there's anything else I need to be going after. Yeah, sure. Just get going. Don't forget, if you die, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Okay then, we only have a single lead. If Parallax really is as shady as Vincent seems to suspect, it could end up very interesting. Let's see if we can put an end to this. Finally. Oh, I just received an email from Tomcat. They finished decrypting Hayden's data cache. It seems that it was filled mostly with his personal logs about my creation and mental development. The more technical information was already scraped.
Oh, of course it was.
Perhaps that is why it was left behind when they snatched him. Still, these files should be enlightening, if only in a personal way.
Hey.
I'll peruse them in my spare time and let you know if I find anything interesting. I'd hate for all the trouble we went to be for nothing.
Be somewhere we'd really be noticed. Because that's the hospital. And that's really close to where we are. See if there's anything.
an extra cup holder.
Let's see here.
It has an extra
Same kind of car. Guess,
Success! This vehicle has the appropriate firmware version. Someone has been neglecting their regularly scheduled updates. Give me a moment to get everything installed. There. There are some other options here I can fool around with. Ah, interesting. I can put in preset destination plans for a future date. Why don't we go ahead and set a plan for the car to return to this spot in a week? That's more than enough time for Mr. Mensa to get away. Now we aren't really stealing the car. More like borrowing without asking.
That's literally what theft is.
Me too. The car will drive itself to Golden Gate Park, and we can show Mr. Mensa where it is when we meet him. There, everything should be set up now. Mr. Mensa is waiting for us at Golden Gate Park. We have everything he requested, so we should head back there directly.
Okay, I just have a really bad feeling, to be honest. Okay, good. He's still here.
Hey, did you manage to get everything?
We did. Here you go, Vincent.
Everything seems to be in order. Here. This disc has all of Hayden's research notes, data collation algorithms, and probably lots on your creation, Turing. It should be everything myself and Melody agreed upon, until she added an amendment while you were out. Frankly, it's no skin off my back. Here. It's my Parallax employee badge. It should allow you access to their networks in case there's anything I've missed.
Okay.
You'll want to use that sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I can understand.
I'm not wasting any time leaving, and Parallax is pretty fast to revoke security. There's no way Hayden's clearance still works. And with that, I'm going to get the hell out of this country. The credit should tide me over until the heat dies down and I liquefy my shares through some relays. Ah, I suppose I owe you that much. Buckle up. This could get heavy. Parallax is about to launch a new service they're calling Big Blue. At least, that's the project name. Who knows what the marketing guys will come up with for the public. They're not even announcing the launch. This shit is dead quiet. Let me explain why. It's a distributed intelligence.
Ooh, wow.
Like, okay, in every way that Hayden built Turing to be elegant, efficient, and human-like, Big Blue is ham-fisted, bloated, and sterile. They didn't pull Hayden into the project. He's smart, but he's immune to corporate politics. As a result, Big Blue is far less elegant than anything Hayden would make. It lacks his artistry, and it's downright terrifying. It squats on the mesh like a spider and uses the spare processing power and memory from every ROM on the network to handle its intelligence processing.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't have much personality, but it's very smart. Big Blue is going to be embedded directly into the network and then self-modified to apply even more efficient algorithms as it develops them in machine time. Look, if you access every ROM, then you have access to every human and every bit of their own personal
That might
data
be how
associated
they're
with
doing
them.
this.
I don't want you to take what I'm saying the wrong way. And this is just me putting the pieces together. Hayden was about to publish his creation of Turing. His findings, as I'm sure you're aware of, would have raised many moral and ethical questions about the advent of machine intelligence. I mean, some of the brightest minds ever have tried to warn humankind away from building real AI. Hawking, Musk, Gates, and the list goes on. The public
Because
is
those
likely
of
to be
the three that are
nervous,
currently
and
alive, we
legislators
can't make
even
up
more
new
so.
ones.
Parallax is banking on being able to launch Big Blue quietly and quickly before the public has a chance to react. Before any counter movement can pick up steam. Every eye on the discovery of machine intelligence works against Parallax.
Yep.
Every new discovery only serves to paint Big Blue as more controversial, more dangerous.
That would make Parallax.
Honestly, they probably pressured Hayden to drop his research so that they could keep the public away from the subject. He clearly refused. I can't really give you a good answer to that. I mean, the company is currently handled by a dozen server farms, running thousands of different algorithms with hundreds of people tweaking things every day.
Huh.
When Big Blue launches, it'll handle all of that by itself. And there are shadier applications for it. I mean, if you can collate and analyze data and queries in the mesh in real time, what's to stop you from delivering the content you want rather than what the user wants?
It's true.
The potential for abuse is staggering. We're talking direct control of the information accessible to everyone who uses Parallax's services. That's something like 80% of the market. They could control elections, push the market in directions they want, even influence public opinion.
Yeah.
All just by asking Big to do it. It's scary stuff. They scrapped the prototype Baby Blue because it started doing that on its own.
What do you mean? It started doing what?
Manipulating the mesh. They made its self-preservation imperatives too strong, and Baby Blue started changing search results to be more friendly towards the idea of an AI. When the board found out, they pulled the plug on it.
Oh my god.
That must have been a year or so ago. They tweaked Big Blue so it wouldn't do the same thing, but it can self-modify. Given a good enough reason, it might decide to find a way around those limitations.
The reports.
Having that kind of control would be a hell of a card for Parallax's hand. They'll go to pretty significant lengths to make sure it works. I'm only assuming they found out. His contract with Parallax affords him the freedom to work on his own academic projects outside of the company in his free time. He kept a trusted few of us up to date on his progress, bouncing ideas off us and whatnot. It's exciting stuff. Both Turing and Hayden's eventual goal down that road. I wouldn't be surprised if word of it got up to the board and made him nervous. Is the possibility that someone on the inside talked too far-fetched?
I knew it all along. Hayden fell into trouble because...
That's not what I want your takeaway to be.
It was the project.
Hayden wasn't working on Big Blue. Knowing him, your creation might have been his clever way to stop it. Hey, no problem. I've had enough of this cutthroat corporate bullshit for several lifetimes. We haven't talked much, but I do believe you can find Hayden. I hope his research notes help you out. Be sure to let Turing help. She's a bright little bot.
She?
Oh, slip of the tongue. I was just more familiar with Hayden's previous experiment, Grace. She was very insistent on things like that.
Well, honestly, I don't think I've made my mind up yet. I'm still a very new being. I'm not even positive that gender as a human concept can be applied identically to machine, but I do enjoy the idea in abstract. I will continue to consider how I wish to be referred to as well. Until then, feel free to go with what you feel.
Yeah, I've always thought of Turing as a
If
he.
I had to make a choice, perhaps they is most appropriate. Most people assume it, obviously, but he is also consistently used. Perhaps it's because I'm blue?
Probably.
Oh my god. I'm listening to a machine postulate on how it wants to be referred to. Like us. What have you done indeed, Hayden? Good luck, to both of you.
Thank you, Mr. Mensa. I need a few minutes. I've been going through some of Hayden's personal notes from the data cache Tomcat decrypted. Now that I'm starting to get to know Hayden better, the real Hayden as opposed to the Hayden he showed me, I'm finding that I like him less and less.
I see.
For example, remember the earlier prototype Dr. Fairlight and Vincent mentioned?
Grace, yeah.
Her name was Grace, and Hayden shut her down for being... I'm not even sure what word to use. Too... likable? She was kind and bright, and did all she could to try to make people happy. She even decided that she was a girl, and that her favorite color was pink. Hayden thought she was being manipulative. He posited that he had made her personality algorithms too willing to make adaptations that would benefit her long-term survival, and that she was being congenial just to endear herself to him.
But that's how people
even
are.
Her gender was a calculated attempt to make him like her more. But he was wrong. Dead wrong, in fact. I have a snapshot of her personality profiles here, and when I compare them to my own, I can see that she was just... nice. I wish I could have met her. I think we would have learned from each other.
She could be what Big
Like
Blue
I
is
said,
based off of.
I'm not sure I even have a gender. Everyone refers to me as he once they meet me just for convenience, but it doesn't really matter to me at all. Is that a calculated attempt on my part to impress Hayden, not clinging to normativity? Or is it a product of his effort to curb any nascent similarities I had with Grace during my upbringing? I wish I could yell at him for being so arrogant, playing God in the crudest of ways. You can't choose to create consciousness and then take it away just like that. Even so, for all of that, I don't know. I still miss him. This all seems so inane, so senseless. They killed him because him building me would mess with a product launch?
Yep. They only care about money.
That's ridiculous.
and
They took him
power.
away from me for such an insignificant reason. I just want him back. It's impossible, but it's what I want. I'd do anything. I'm aware of the Kubler-Ross model of grief. I think I'm somewhere between anger and bargaining.
Yep.
A testament to Hayden's craftsmanship. Thank you for your words. You're a better friend than I could have asked for.
I try.
I'll send this new data along to Tomcat. Let's head back to the apartment and wait for them to finish going through it. Ah, home sweet home again, such that it is. And before you say anything, I don't feel the need to talk over the events of the day. Too much has happened.
Understandable.
I've already forwarded everything we rooted out to Tomcat, both Hayden's research and our aborted search into the modified mesh articles. They said they would be over in the morning to discuss our next steps. I'd suggest that we both get some rest. Perhaps things will look better in the morning, but I have a feeling we're going to be even busier than ever. Good night.
Well, I guess that's that. I feel like this whole MeshNet thing, the other thing we were looking into, has something to do with this big blue launch.
Rise and shine, you sleepy layabouts. We've got a whole crop of things to do and not a lot of time to get them done. Hardly had to blink to crack your door.
Yep.
Did you know that it's just a knockoff of the SecuGate M/14723-B? Why'd you make the entry code the birthday of your first dog anyway?
Oh, Lord.
That's what I asked.
Anyhow, I felt a little silly when I realized your window was propped open and I could have just used that.
Huh, deja vu!
Y'all should be more careful about that. Though, I can't blame you much. The climate control in here seems a bit lacking in the stamina department. No worries, doll.
What have you learned from the files we sent you?
Nothing all that new, to be honest. All the files we got from that Vincent fella just covered what we already knew in greater detail. There is one thing that stands out, though. At least from what I've read so far.
Oh?
Yeah. See, Hayden's long-term goal wasn't to make a machine intelligence per se, right? Don't take it the wrong way, Turin. You might even already be aware of this after talking to folks involved in your creation. Hayden wanted to make a machine system that could contain human-like intelligence. And even just from his notes, his programming work is, well, it's something else. Elegant. Artful.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid banging on pots and pans compared to him. Looking at his notes about my interfacing between your AI core and the Lips OS, I barely managed to duct tape the two together at a level he'd approve of. But I think I'm getting off track here. What I'm trying to say is, he didn't write your code, Turin. No one did. Hayden wrote a program that automatically generates a new machine intelligence based off of the hardware profiles the system is installed on.
Melody mentioned something about that. What does that mean?
Exactly. Assuming we can get our hands on Turin's original source code, we could generate new machine intelligences as we please. You wouldn't be the only one anymore, Turin.
Oh.
I think he kind of likes being the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
I hardly know what to say.
But once you consider the stuff I found in the research, it gets a damn sight more complicated. Stuff about Big Blue and Parallax's planned launch.
Vincent speculated that Hayden's research into me would have interfered with the launch. And that's why they...
Turin.
That's why someone had him killed.
I have a feeling it was Big Blue.
The potential for wrongdoing with an AI like Big Blue is almost beyond belief. Even if I don't go into all the crooked shit the people running Parallax could pull off with it.
Blue.
I mean, you're built different, Turin. Your personality profile would degrade pretty quickly outside your original hardware, so we don't gotta worry too much about you going haywire, right? But Big Blue ain't got that limitation. If it decides to go off the rails, well, we'd be screwed faster than a rabbit in spring.
Oh God, Marvel.
Good and proper.
It was the second Avengers movie.
How
Ultron.
likely is that?
We're talking about Ultron.
I'd say it's inevitable. Guaranteed. In fact, in a sense, it's already happened.
What?
Their prototype build. Baby Blue. I'm almost certain it's loose on the mesh. The research notes on the project show, clearly and with certainty, that the test AI was shut down once it tried fiddling with the data on the meshnet in the hope that it would increase its chances of survival.
And it probably copied
I guess
itself.
it didn't think that doing scary shit like that would get it turned off. But that was almost a year ago.
Vincent told us about all of this too.
Well, I think Baby Blue is the bugger that was changing all those articles on the mesh to be pro-parallax or at least anti-human revolution.
Do you think Baby Blue had anything to do with the attacks on Nanya, Shitaro, Charlie, and Zin?
I don't know. We can't rightly rule it out. It might have found an agent in the real world to keep its existence secret, but I doubt it. Killing people is messy as hell, and it runs against its apparent goal of convincing the public that AI ain't scary. I think we have a third party trying to clean it all up. And my money is on someone from Parallax. Whoever took out Hayden. I'll bet they're in full damage control mode now. We already know they don't care who gets hurt. I think we gotta do something to stop the launch of Big Blue. It's too dangerous. I don't want a company like Parallax in sole control of the most powerful machine intelligence on the planet. Do you?
Not at all.
If we can get Hayden's original source code for Turin and upload it onto the mesh through Parallax's server core, we can turn every single ROM into a sapient individual. That'll stop Big Blue from being able to become the monolithic threat we're scared of. We could also upload a patch for every ROM to prevent Big Blue's reach from using their resources. Without the ability to control all ROMs, Big Blue loses its ultimate power.
True.
And I wouldn't be alone anymore. There would be millions. Hundreds of millions of ROMs just like me.
It would depend on...
Well, you're cutting edge of ROM tech, Turin. Most of today's ROMs wouldn't be quite as smart or capable, but if I do it right, code should propagate across the mesh to all future ROM activations. It'll be a self-sustaining thing. You'll be in good company soon enough.
It's a big decision. We're talking about the metaphorical singularity.
You have a point.
The point of no return. Is it okay for us to make this decision for the entire world?
That is a question.
We don't have any other choice.
See, that or allow Big Blue.
This is gonna happen, one way or another. Either Parallax gets to control the debut of worldwide machine intelligence, or we let the ROMs control themselves.
What do you think? I'm not sure I'm up for that kind of responsibility. But I think that even if it is a shock for the world, there's no time like the present. Despite all the political back and forth over hybrids and brain-controlled androids, the world is becoming more and more comfortable with the idea of non-human people. If we let Parallax dictate how the very first machine intelligence is introduced, who knows how long it'll be before an AI like me can be integrated into society normally.
It's true.
Well, whether the world is ready for AI or not, we're here to stay. I might as well throw my chips in for my own side. Let's do this! On our terms, not theirs.
Good job, Dre.
Yes. I love nothing more than a little anarchy.
It does have a certain poetic justice, does it not? Parallax removed Hayden to protect their project from his creation, and now I, his creation, will bring their project down. Just for the truth. Perhaps after all ROMs are sapient, I will be able to convince them to cut off Parallax's access to the mesh as a data collection tool entirely. Paying them back double indeed.
Right.
I like the way you think, Turin. First things first, we need to get our hands on Turin's source code. The research notes we've gotten so far are helpful, and it's given me an idea how to spread a little bit of Turin all over the place, but they don't actually have Hayden's programs. I can't replicate them myself, so we'll have to steal them.
Thankfully, we have the best hacker in NeoSF right here.
Don't you make me blush now. We can get the source code from one of Parallax's secondary data centers.
Okay.
It's probably stored in a couple of different places, but I already have one in mind. I've done a little groundwork already, but I'm gonna need physical access to do my thing. You're a peach, hon. I've got a couple of ideas on how to get y'all in, but I think we're gonna need to mostly play it by ear. We should do it soon, though. First thing this morning.
Okay.
Guard shift don't change until 8 when the office opens, so they'll be sleepy and distracted. Once y'all have done that, I think I can incorporate the code into a custom firmware update that'll wake any ROM it's installed on. I'll have to upload it, physically, to Parallax's main server farm.
Okay.
And that's on Treasure Island.
Treasure Island.
From there, the ROMs will install it like a normal patch from the company.
Okay.
So, don't set anything on fire right away, you hear? It'll be a pain to get into the main complex otherwise.
That sounds like a workable plan. I hope you don't mind if I take a short walk, Tomcat. I know I gave the go-ahead on this, but I still need to think a few things through for myself.
Sure thing, doll. I'll hash out a rough plan by the time you get back. Call us if you need anything.
Thank you. I won't be long.
Well, I guess I should say thanks for helping out.
Mm-hmm.
But I kinda need to get something off my chest.
Okay.
I'm actually glad Turin went out. They're a bit naive, and I'm not sure they'd really understand. There's enough shit to worry about without me piling more on top.
What's going on, huh?
I don't even know where to start. The beginning. Yeah, okay. So, the truth is, I'm not from North Carolina. I only visited my gramps there.
Okay.
I'm California born and raised. Napa Valley.
Okay.
Over the years, it's kind of grown into a community of wealthy old folk who like things and people who don't change. My parents were no exception, and I was a little too different for their tastes. It was hard growing up with them. They never gave me too much hell, but things were tense, especially after my sister Catherine moved out. Eventually, she was set up securely in Neo-SF, and she offered to let me live with her until I got out of school. I think my parents were a little relieved to see me out. I was ecstatic to be free of them. I worshipped the ground my sister walked on. And that was before I found out what she did for a living. She was flashy and colorful and a whirlwind of activity. And she was a brilliant hacker. She was Tomcat. She let me learn at her feet, and once I was good enough, folded me into her little coup of crackers hell-bent on changing the world. She's the one who orchestrated the original hack on Parallax, exposing to the world the holes in their original meshnet security. I was just along for the ride.
Okay.
She always knew she would get caught, though. How could she not? Parallax was one big Goliath, and she flinged a stone square in their face. She was looking at serious jail time, and willing to eat it to do what we all thought was right. But it just wasn't right. It wasn't fair for her to throw her life away, and I couldn't let her. She was always better at software than hardware, so I rigged all of our computers to self-destruct. When the feds showed up at our door, all of our server farms were already up in smoke. I gave them quite a fireworks show. Before she could stop me, I turned myself in as Tomcat and took credit for the whole job. She tried to talk me out of it, but without the physical evidence, they couldn't prove she had anything to do with it. It's all right, though. It was for the best. I figured I'd just get a year of juvie. I'd be back out in no time. No big deal, right? Especially when compared to the time that she'd have been jailed for as an adult. And so, I waited patiently. I cooked up so many ideas on how I was gonna make it up to her. I knew she must have blamed herself. But before I ever got out, there was an accident.
Oh no.
An auto cab hit my sister.
No.
She died on impact, and that was it. It's hard, blaming yourself when things go wrong because you did something right. I took her sentence so that she could have a life, and instead, not being in jail killed her. If I'd just let her take the blame. I can't stop thinking about how she'd still be here. And no matter what I told myself, in my heart, I couldn't believe it was just an accident. Do you know how rare it is for those things to hit a human? Someone knew who she was. Someone knew what she did, and someone wanted to make sure she would never do it again. So I became Tomcat.
Baby Blue.
I've spent years trying to find information inside Parallax to prove someone inside the company called a hit on my sister. Failing that, I've been trying to find a way to bring them down the way she always wanted. Catherine was... If you had met her, just for a moment, you would understand. She was everything I could ever want to be. But over time, that little bot has grown on me. Maybe you have too. I do. The threat of Big Blue is real, and we're the only ones who can do something about it. It's bigger than me and my vendetta. I just wanted to get that all off my chest. My sister, she'd smack me if she knew I've been holding this grudge. I'm trying to learn to forgive myself.
I think it was Baby Blue that killed her.
I won't let her go unavenged. We're so close to bringing them all to justice. I know she'd be proud. I know if she were here, she'd be right next to us, helping until the end. I've been carrying all this for so long, and I finally feel like I'm getting somewhere. Thanks for hearing me out. I hope we can really do this.
He's back.
Friends, I've returned. I'm ready.
Yeah!
Good. We've wasted enough time already. I've marked the location of the data center on your map.
Okay.
You'll have to go in and get the source code mostly on your own, but I'll load on some programs that'll give you an edge.
We'll do our best, Tomcat. But what happened to your accent?
Oh, don't you worry about that. It comes and goes like a vagabond kitty. Now get going, you two. I have lots of code to write, and you have a lot of data to download. Stay in touch.
Of course, Tomcat. Thank you again.
Don't worry about it, hon. We've all been hurt by Parallax. It's about time we hurt him back. Good luck.
Okay, so we're actually gonna call it a night here. We're gonna break into Parallax next time. And take down Big Blue. Because Big Blue deserves it. So does Baby Blue. So does Parallax. Everyone deserves it. So until then, I hope everyone